In a green valley enclosed between steep mountainsides, the climbing and winter sports capital of the Valais region is also one of Switzerland's great international resorts. Zermatt is dominated by the definitive mountain, the huge and gracefully curved Matterhorn, making almost any angle a postcard view. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 attractions and things to do in Zermatt. Before we begin though, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome travel guides, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know when we publish a new video. So now, let's cut to the chase. And at 10, Matterhorn Museum. The history of Zermatt as a resort is closely tied to the early climbers, and you'll learn their fascinating story in this well-designed contemporary museum. You'll see dramatic excerpts from De Berg Ruft, The Mountain Calls, filmed in Zermatt from 1937 to 1938, along with artifacts, photos and a relief of the Matterhorn showing the different routes to the summit. But there's a lot more than climbing here. You'll see furnishings and home interiors illustrating mountain life, and dip further into the past with finds from the Neolithic age. Outside the museum is one of Zermatt's most popular highlights, the charming 1906 Marmot Fountain. A family of bronze marmots cavorts among the cascades, polished to a high shine by the pats of a century of passers-by. Behind the fountain is a beautiful life-sized bronze ibex. Next up, at 9, day trip to Brig, Stockalper Palace and UNESCO World Nature Forum. Although visitors to Zermatt pass through it in droves, few stop or return for a longer visit to Brig. That's a shame, as this town along the Upper Rhone is an attractive one with two important tourist attractions. Brig was important since Roman times as the gateway to the Simplon Pass, and it has Switzerland's finest Baroque palace, the 17th century Stockalper Palace. Built by the early business magnate Caspar Stockalper, it is open for tours of its grandiose halls and an exhibit on the history and importance of the Simplon Pass. This exhibition and the beautiful palace gardens are free. Across the river in the Naters neighbourhood, the World Nature Forum is the base camp for the UNESCO World Heritage Swiss Alps Jungfrau Allach, with interactive and multi-sensory exhibitions on the Alps. The films, interactive displays and artifacts engage visitors in the grandeur of the mountains, their history and their future in the face of climate change and rapidly melting glaciers. In the panorama area, UNESCO World Heritage films are projected on a 100 square metre screen. Next up, at 8, Toboggan down the Gornergrat. The highest toboggan run in the Alps begins at the Gornergrat Railway's Rotenboden station, extending 1.5 kilometres down to the Riffelberg. During the 10-minute ride, you'll see one of the mountain's most spectacular panoramic views. Depending on your skill and thrill level, you can rent one of several types of toboggan, from the traditional double runner sled to faster Goski or Snook models, whatever they may be. The former has a fixed seat on two skis, the latter has a single ski with an attached seat. Really? There are sleds with seats for children as well. The train runs every 10 minutes, and with a sledding ticket you can ride from Zermatt up to the Rotenboden and make as many sled runs between Rotenboden and Riffelberg as you like, returning to the top between runs. Careful. Alright, at 7, Hinterdorf. One area of Zermatt that you won't want to miss is the Hinterdorf. Located higher up in the village of Zermatt, beyond the Monte Rosa Hotel, is the Hinterdorf, a warren of narrow lanes, weathered old wooden chalets, barns, stables and storehouses. This area offers a look at a much earlier period in Zermatt's history. Buildings in the Hinterdorf date from between the 16th and 18th centuries, built of the particularly dense local larch wood and with roofs of stone slab to withstand the weight of snow. These storehouses have large circular slabs of stone on the supporting posts to deter mice. The cats that wander these streets also help with that job now. Zermatt is one of the few places where you can see such a group of well-preserved old Valais village buildings. For a guided tour with historical insights, ask at the tourist office. At 6, it's Sunnegga. A funicular climbs in a tunnel from the centre of Zermatt to the Sunnegga sun terrace at 2,289 metres. Here you'll find a year-round restaurant and in the summer several other attractions. Children splash in the crystal water of the Lizay, and there is also a marmot watching station to see these furry little mammals that live in alpine burrows. This is also the starting point for several hikes. In winter, Wally's Adventure Park is a non-threatening first ski experience for beginners. Phew, that's a relief. And experienced skiers continue on the gondolas, chairlifts and a cable car up to the Matterhorn area's trails and snowfields. You can also link from here to the Gornergrat ski pistes. Alright, at 5, Kleines Matterhorn. One of the most spectacular trips in a place where spectacular scenery becomes almost ordinary is on the highest cable car in Europe, from the Trockenegger Steg to the north face of the Kleines Matterhorn. From the upper station, there is a lift to the summit of the Kleines Matterhorn at 3,884 metres. Not so kleiner then. A cableway from Brig leads to the Schwarzsee, an alpine lake with a restaurant. Inside the glacier that lies between the Kleines Matterhorn and the Breithorn is the Glacier Palace, which you can access via a lift that takes you 15 metres below the surface into a world of sparkling crystals. Carved out of the glacier are tunnels and halls with ice sculptures and a snack bar. At 4, dining in Zermatt. After a busy day on the slopes skiing in the winter, and in my case falling over a lot, or hiking or mountain biking the trails in the summer, a great meal is always a pleasure. Fortunately, and not surprisingly, Zermatt has an excellent selection of restaurants to satisfy most cravings. Home to 4 Michelin-starred restaurants, the foodie scene here thrives with the latest innovations from some of the world's best chefs. The following 4 are all Michelin-starred restaurants in Zermatt. Located in the Backstage Hotel Vernissage is Capri, the place to go for wonderful Italian, and after 7, where you can enjoy a surprise menu of Florian Neubauer's creations. For a relaxed, leisurely meal, try the 3.5-hour tasting menu at Brasserie Uno. Right in the centre of town, at the exclusive Grand Hotel Zermatt is Alpine Gourmet Prato Borni, featuring 2 set menus, Heimat and Fernweh. If your budget is a bit more mainstream, but you still want a good meal, excellent restaurants line Zermatt's main thoroughfares. One of the more popular family restaurants is Grampi's, where you'll find hearty Italian fare and excellent wood oven-fired pizzas in a chalet-style atmosphere. For an authentic fondue meal, Schafferstube is an upper-end restaurant with a rustic ambiance. The small hole-in-the-wall place has both fondue and raclette menus. If you're looking for a good restaurant on the mountain, you have several choices. Chez Vroni is a popular ski-to Michelin-mentioned restaurant with a rustic charm. You need to book this well in advance. Another great choice is the Shallow Ried restaurant, which is closer to the bottom of the mountain and can be a nice place to stop near the end of your ski day. You can dine inside or outside, but you're more likely to get a spot without a reservation if you opt for the outside deck. If you're visiting Zermatt for a few days or longer in high season and are interested in fine dining, consider your choices ahead of time and make a reservation well in advance. At 3, ride the Gornergrat Railway. The Gornergrat Bahn, Europe's highest mountain railroad running over open country, takes 45 minutes to climb 10 kilometers to the summit of the Gornergrat. The Rack Railroad climbs the east side of the Nikolai Valley and up the slopes of the Riffelberg on a wide curve, with ever more impressive views of the Matterhorn. Riffelberg, at 2,582 meters altitude, has a hotel and restaurant with a terrace that is a popular sun deck for skiers. A few minutes' walk below the Rotenboden station, at 2,819 meters, is the Riffelsee, with the peak of the Matterhorn mirrored in its water. The view is at its most spectacular in the morning. The line then runs high above the Gorner Glacier to the summit station at 3,089 meters, from which it is only a 5-minute climb to the famous Gornergrat Observatory on a rocky ridge above the Gorner Glacier. From here is one of the most magnificent panoramas in the Alps. In the middle, the Matterhorn, with the Breithorn, the twin peaks of Zwillinge and the Leisgam and Monte Rosa to the left, To the north, the peaks of the Michelbel group, including the 4,545-metre Dom, the highest peak entirely within Switzerland. You can walk from the Gornergrat back down to Zermatt. The path drops steeply for the first 90 minutes to the Findel Glacier restaurant, where a 45-minute detour, and also a beer, leads up to the Findel Glacier. From the restaurant, the walk continues via the resort village of Findeln, from which it is about an hour to Zermatt. At 2, skiing and winter sports. What else? Thanks to the surrounding glaciers, Zermatt offers year-round skiing. What a surprise! With ski terrain at altitudes between 2,500 and 3,900 metres and Switzerland's highest vertical drop, more than 2,133 metres. Ouch! In the summer, you can ski on the Breithorn Plateau via the cableway to the Kleines Matterhorn and on the 3,500-metre Plateau Rosa near the Theodul Pass. One of the great ski experiences in the Alps is taking the lifts to the top and skiing over the Theodul Pass and down into the Italian ski resort of Cervina. The world's highest 3S cableway opened in 2019, carrying 2,000 skiers an hour to the Matterhorn Glacier at 3,883 metres altitude, where you can ski year-round. The mountain scenery up here is fantastic. Note that these high mountain lifts are frequently closed on windy days though. Skiing at Zermatt is a very civilized affair. Dining on the ski slopes can be a high-end experience and one that often involves making a reservation at the slopeside restaurants. The popular Chevroni restaurant is even mentioned in the Michelin Guide. If you're not up for a full meal, you can simply enjoy relaxing on sunny decks and appreciating the scenery. Heli skiing, high-altitude ski tours, Nordic trails and night skiing are other options. But you don't need to ski to enjoy winter sports here. There are natural ice skating rinks, snowshoe trails and several curling rinks. Because it is far enough away from major cities, Zermatt doesn't attract the big weekend crowds, and you can access 3 separate ski areas on one pass. And finally, at number 1, it's the Matterhorn. Without the sharp pyramid of the Matterhorn rising as a dramatic backdrop, Zermatt would be another pretty little Swiss village instead of a world-famous symbol of the Alps and of Switzerland itself. Along with making Zermatt the Swiss poster child, the mountain defines the town and gives it a year-round appeal that no other ski resort can match. The 4,478-metre peak has 4 distinct faces, one for each compass point. These are divided by sharp ridges, and below the steep peak lie several glaciers. 3 of the faces are in Switzerland, and the south face overlooks Val Tonence, one of the top ski resorts in Italy. To the east of Matterhorn's peak is the Theodul Pass, which was an important trade route in Roman and medieval times. The Matterhorn was first climbed in 1865 by a British team of 5 and 2 Swiss guides. Although a few thousand people master it each year, it should still only be attempted by well-experienced climbers. I'll second that. And there you have the top 10 attractions and things to do in Zermatt. Did you like what you saw? Let us know in the comments down below. Share this video with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fantastic travel guides. See you next time.